MPD now actively looking for the suspect in the case, the victim's live-in boyfriend. They say just hours before she was killed, they'd been called to the house for help.
She talked about domestic violence, which is very ironic because that's exactly where unfortunately led to her demise. She spoke about how she was able to break free from a previous situation that her and her children were a part of.
Ow, I finished my wig, y'all. My wig is done.
A woman who broke free from abuse, only to be murdered by the man she thought was her fresh start. Charlotte, North Carolina, July 1st, 2019. It was almost midnight when a 911 call came in from Gold Pan Road. Hours earlier, police had already visited the same home. A woman had called for help, but no one was arrested. No one was removed. 4 hours later, she was dead. Her name was Aaliyah Sakina Terry, a mother, an entrepreneur, a survivor, stabbed to death in her own home while her children slept nearby. And the man wanted for her murder? Her live-in boyfriend. If you believe stories like this must be told, please subscribe to this channel. We are fighting to give victims a voice, and you can help us reach more people just by subscribing, liking, and sharing this story. We need to hit 1,000 subscribers today, and your one click could help save a life tomorrow. This is the story of Aaliyah Sakina Terry, a warrior taken too soon. Born on August 11th, 1983, Aaliyah was a beacon of resilience. She graduated from North Charleston High School with honors, went on to study at South Carolina State University, and later built a thriving life in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was the proud founder of Savvy Strands Virgin Hair Company and the CEO of Convenient Communications, LLC. Her businesses weren't just income.
Savvy Strands here. This is the Burmese Virgin. The Burmese Virgin has been installed since February 1st. It's now April 2nd, so basically a week and 2 months. What we're looking at here is the bounciness still of it. You can still run your fingers through it. If you take care of your hair to take care of you, it's not much you have to do with it. I also do show you how to maintain hair. Well, you can give you instructions on how to maintain hair with the purchase of the hair. So once you purchase the hair, you do see how to maintain it. But again, Savvy Strands Burmese Virgin.
They were purpose. She was raising 2 beautiful children, balancing work, motherhood, and community advocacy, especially for women trapped in abusive relationships. Hi, my name is Aaliyah Terry, her voice once said proudly at a local event. She believed in helping others escape the pain she once endured herself.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah Terry. As you can see, I have a table there set up with hair, raw virgin Indian hair. That is visible, so that's not what I really want to talk to you about. So, now, to business. I own a company called Convenient Communications, LLC. It's a black-owned company. I hire people to work from home. It's from the convenience of your own home. Right now, I'm hiring part-time to take customer service calls for Comcast Communications and Carnival. I created the company in 2015. I work for corporate America. I did.
Aaliyah had once been married to an abusive man, but she found the strength to leave him. She was determined to rewrite her story. She fell in love again, this time with Isaiah Andrew Henderson III, a man she thought was different. But he wasn't. He was worse. The signs began slowly. Controlling behavior, emotional manipulation, moments of rage. Then the calls to 911 began. 19 calls in 1 year, some for domestic violence, 1 for assault with a deadly weapon. And yet, he was never arrested. Neighbors heard arguments. One neighbor claimed Isaiah once hid Aaliyah's car keys to keep her from leaving. She once told a friend, "He's about to snatch my phone." Later that night, she went silent. Still, no charges, no restraining order, no intervention. On July 1st, 2019, police came to her house one final time. It was just a verbal dispute, they said. Isaiah had already left. No crime committed, they concluded. They left. 4 hours later, Aaliyah was stabbed multiple times. At 1:55 a.m. on July 2nd, a second 911 call came from the same house. When officers arrived, they didn't find a couple arguing. They found blood. Aaliyah was barely alive. Emergency services rushed her to the hospital, but the wounds were too deep. She died in the early hours of the morning. Her children were in the house. Her mother arrived soon after to carry them away. She was 35 years old. CMPD launched an immediate investigation. Within hours, they issued a murder warrant for Isaiah Andrew Henderson III. His face was plastered across news outlets and social media. But for 2 days, he vanished. Then, on July 4th, he walked into CMPD headquarters and turned himself in. No drama, no resistance. Just a quiet surrender. As the city mourned, the question echoed, how did this happen? 19 calls, repeated red flags, a woman asking for help, and no one stopped it. The prosecutor charged Isaiah with first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty. The death penalty was taken off the table. If convicted, he would serve life in prison without parole. But no sentence could return what was lost. Aaliyah wasn't just a victim. She was an advocate, a mother, a founder, a survivor. Just days before her death, she had co-authored a book titled The Queen Experience, meant to help women leave abusive relationships. Her publisher, Nikita Davis, broke down in tears hearing the news of her death. She was so full of life. She wanted to help women escape the pain she knew too well, Davis shared. Half of the book's proceeds were redirected to support Aaliyah's children. Aaliyah's case triggered an outcry in Charlotte.
Got on scene. Henderson was gone.
Were told by the female no crime had been committed. They offered her options.
4 hours later, Terry was dead. Police say Henderson came back and stabbed her to death.
Activists questioned why repeated 911 calls don't result in immediate protection. Why are victims sent back into homes with their abusers? Why is help only serious when someone dies? Aaliyah did everything right. She asked for help. She left her abuser. She called the police. Still, it wasn't enough. Aaliyah was buried just days before her 36th birthday. Friends wore shirts in her honor. They vowed to never let her name be forgotten. Her children now live with family. Her book lives on, and her story is being told.
After an alleged domestic dispute turned deadly.
Police say 35-year-old Aaliyah Terry, a mother of two, was stabbed to death on Gold Pan Road. This is in Northeast Charlotte. Police say just hours before that, officers received a call at the same home for a domestic dispute.
NBC Charlotte's Tanya Mendis has been following this all day and joins us with the latest. Tanya?
CMPD now actively looking for the suspect in the case, the victim's live-in boyfriend. They say just hours before she was killed, they'd been called to the house for help. Friends say they knew Aaliyah Terry was in a toxic relationship.
It's been escalated. She wanted him to leave the house.
The 35-year-old mom dating a man named Isaiah Henderson, who goes by Drew. But friends say there'd been some issues.
And she just got tired. I don't know. She mentioned that she wanted him to leave.
Then, late last night, police got a 911 call from the house about a verbal altercation. But when officers got on scene, Henderson was gone.
Were told by the female no crime had been committed. They offered her options.
4 hours later, Terry was dead. Police say Henderson came back and stabbed her to death.
I hadn't talked to her for a couple of hours after that. And then I got the call this morning that she's gone.
The crime leaving children to grow up without their mother. A neighbor says Terry's children were in the house when their mother was attacked. The neighbor says their father arrived a while later to carry them away. And CMPD tells us they have had issues at the home before. There was a breaking and entering call not too long ago, but it turned out to be Henderson who lived at the home. So once again, technically no crime was committed. Reporting at CMPD headquarters, I'm Tanya Mendes, NBC.
But the pain remains. If you're experiencing abuse, don't wait. Get help now. Call 1-800-799-7233, the National Domestic Violence Hotline. This story must not end in silence. If you're still watching, please subscribe to support this channel. Comment below what struck you the most. Share this story so others know the signs.
It was a short hearing here this morning, only a few minutes or so, but it had a tremendous impact on the family of a young woman who had lived with, and police say, from domestic violence.
It's been very rough knowing that my daughter was in it.
Wanda Sanders stood between her two grandchildren and tried to pick herself up again after watching the man charged with her daughter plead not guilty.
And I'm asking all you women or even men that's being victims to get out before you can leave so you can have a life and not happen what happened to my daughter.
Yeah, Aaliyah Terry had hoped that her story would encourage other women, but days before the book's pre-order, police say she was here in her own home by her boyfriend.
I was devastated. I was in my office at work. I just started bawling, crying.
Nikita Davis talked to me via Zoom. She said she's still upset over the loss of her friend, Aaliyah Terry.
She was a beautiful person inside and out. She kept a beautiful smile.
But Davis says her friend had endured and overcome much heartache. She recently wrote her account about it in a book called The Queen Experience. Davis is the book's publisher and says Terry had hoped her story would inspire abused women.
She talked about domestic violence, which is very ironic because that's exactly where unfortunately led to her demise. She spoke about how she was able to break free from a previous situation that her and her children were a part of.
Please subscribe to support this channel. Comment below what struck you the most. Share this story so others know the signs. We must do better. For Aaliyah, for her children, for every woman still trapped in silence. Until justice speaks louder than violence, we will not stop telling these stories.